everybody. Welcome back to the two newbies who are trying some stuff out. Chantel and Jenny here, and we're chatting about A Course in Miracles. So, what's your 2 weeks been like?
It has been a wild last 2 weeks. So I had to move studio. So not only have I moved my house, I've moved my artist studio. And a lot of feelings around not being heard and not being seen has come up. And then also over giving and not feeling like I'm receiving. And so what I found with the lessons over the last 2 weeks is that's kind of been on my mind as I've been reading it. And I've been finding it quite helpful in the fact where, so for example, lesson 158 says, "Today I learned to give as I receive." And even though that lesson was very much about giving, I took the side of that lesson about the receiving as well. And this balance and flow, when you're constantly just giving and not receiving, you're not really truly in flow. Flow is when you are giving and getting. There is like that like beautiful like exchange in that. As mentioned just before the call, we talked about how there was a lot of fear. Like the word fear came up a lot in a lot of the lessons in the past 2 weeks. And for me, yeah, I had to really face a lot of my fears with around, oddly enough, like my identity. When I started on the intuitive path, and like really, really was committed to it, it was during the pandemic. So I didn't really have to face people with how my identity has changed, because intuition has become such a huge part of my life, and spirituality. And more is the spiritual and intuitive world combining with my old personality or like old identity, and they're starting to merge more and more and more. And it's kind of come to a head now where I've had to face the fear of what the joy of those two merging look like and what they can be, and let go of the comfort of keeping the two separate and really enjoying the two together. So sorry, I'm speaking quite abstractly.
It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me.
So I've been finding the lessons overall really helpful and really aligned with what's been going on in my life over the last 2 weeks, I guess is what I'm trying to say in a very roundabout way.
Yeah, and isn't that fantastic, right? It just shows that these lessons that we're learning, that we're exploring and experimenting with, really do resonate in real life.
Absolutely. And it's wild how much more you get out of the lessons when your life a lot like starts to line up with it.
Yeah.
And I think during, some of the periods where I'm like, ugh, like I'm a bit tired of the revision, or like, ugh, I'm a bit, when I have those moments, my life has taken a break from the two aligning or like resonating with each other so much. And I've realized that if my life was always matching up with this book 24/7, that would be really exhausting.
It would be
It would be
exhausting.
beautiful, but it would be exhausting. And so I'm also very appreciative of it not always being in alignment together.
Sure, right? Because then that's when things are like when we're like always on. You know what it's like when we're always on and we just burn ourselves right out, and we need to have that respite, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How have you been finding the last 2 weeks?
It's been interesting. So I've been we just got home last night and have been away for several days, away and with the whole family, like all staying together and celebrating my daughter's graduation from university. So wonderful, wonderful thing. We had a great time, which was great. And I know darn well that A Course in Miracles has helped that to be a good time. And just because of my own mindset and oneness and forgiveness and love instead of fear, and all of those really, really great things, right? And being in the present moment. And at the same time, I really struggle with staying right on my lessons when I am away and it's busy, and the schedule isn't just mine. There's a lot of other people involved in those sorts of things. At the same time, that being said, there were some lessons that really resonated with me a lot. And it was lesson 160. I'm just going to read the words because I can't remember exactly how it goes. And it is, I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. And I've chatted about fear, I'm pretty sure, before already. And just in that whole realm of something that I've done with fear all my life is just tucked it away and pushed it away. And in the realm of, you have no place here. You have no place here. So just get over there and just tuck away. Don't look at it. Whereas what I've been working on is allowing fear to have its say. And I think that that's very different than me saying, come on in and rule my life. That's not what I'm looking for it to do. But I do want it to have its say because it has something to say. And the more that I push it, the more that it grows over there in the dark instead of letting it have its say. And then for me to then allow the opposite of fear, which is love, to have its say. And so it's even with things like the nervousness of the whole family gathering together, right? We all know when families gather together, there's things that go on. So those sorts of things, fears around my business and how it's expanding, those sorts of things. The big one for me right now is I've joined roller derby. I've always wanted to join roller derby, and I joined, and it's brand new here in my town. And so we're all newbies at it, which is fantastic. And at the same time, some of the women have played hockey since they were kids. I'm not a hockey player. Yes, I can roller skate, just like, I can get on them and I can go and everything. But that fear of getting hurt is there. And so to, the whole like feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And so that I always think that I know I'm on the right path with something when I'm nervous and excited at the same time. And so, but we can really dance with nervousness that it turns into fear, or that it actually is fear and we're just like, oh no, I'm just nervous, or I'm just, or saying I'm nervous, or that I'm scared and fearful when actually, well, it's nerves actually. And so it is like boiling down, what is the actual emotion that's going on? And so it's interesting. It's interesting to allow fear to have its say. And it has a lot to say. It really, really does. It can have a lot to say. And then, like I said, to allow love then to respond. And I haven't done that with roller derby yet. And so that's something that I plan to do today, was that fear around getting hurt at roller derby. And I mean like hurt, like you're going to get banged and bruised, and that's okay. To let that fear really have its say, and then to let love have its say as well. So what I did, the one thing that I did do when I went to roller derby last week was, as I went there, I just wrapped myself up in like a love bubble to go and just have fun and just, do my thing. And I didn't get hurt. I had a really fun time, and I challenged myself, and I practiced falling over and over and over and over again. And believe me, it took some real trust and practice to throw my knees down on concrete.
Oh boy.
Right?
Yeah.
It like just to skate along and drop down on your knees. And I felt the fear, knew that it was, in the whole realm of being injured, and just the love part, just saying, you have knee pads on. They've shown you how to fall safely. You've done it before, just keep practicing. So I spent so much time just like skate, 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 fall, skate, 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 fall, like intentionally fall, just to practice so you learn how to fall safely. And it felt empowering.
And that is such a good skill to have, honestly.
It is like we all need it, right? And so something else that was pointed out, just in the realm, you can take this so literally or figuratively, in the whole realm of when you feel like you're going to fall, get grounded again, get down low. And isn't that what we want to do in life? We see like a trip up coming or a fall happening, and just those bumps that happen along the way, just get grounded again. And what the woman who's coaching us, what she pointed out, she said, when we start to fall, we often try to fall up. And that's when we do that, right? We're trying to stand up taller and get our balance that way instead of shoop, get grounded. And so it's just that actual physical reminder of, you start to get a little tottery, just get grounded again.
Well, and this is like, in a beautiful way, I feel like with spirituality, with A Course in Miracles, with any of the intuitive courses you and I have taken, I feel like in a weird way, they do teach you how to fall, right?
They do, because we fall over and over and over again as humans.
Yeah. And it's like practice falling, practice getting back up again, facing the fear of that. And rather than falling upwards, let's fall grounded, and let's tuck in a little bit. Let's tuck in those elbows,
Yeah.
and I do feel like you have just recently have done the physical work of what we've been doing on an emotional and spiritual level.
Yeah, that's very much so what it feels like. And like one of the things we do in practice is pair up, and we did it first in running shoes, and then we did it with roller skates on, and it was pushing each other around, and it was just get centered again. And you don't know where the person's going to come from, and they're just pushing, and it's just get yourself grounded again, just get it grounded again, 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 again. And recognizing in doing that, you're going to get better at it.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's what life is like. Like these bumps in life are going to happen. And so practice getting good at it, because that's the way it's going to be anyway.
I
And
feel, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and also the person who I've partnered up with and who's pushing me, she's pushing me, yes, and she's supporting me at the same time. That push is her love of me saying, here I am, I'm going to push you, find your edge, I'm right here, find your edge. Yeah. So roller derby and spirituality can go together.
100%. 100%.
Yep.
I also feel like for any other sport or anything you do in the future, practicing falling like this is going to make you have so much more confidence.
Yeah.
I have noticed it when someone, I remember, okay, twice in my life I've had people talk to me about falling, and one was a friend who was a skateboarder, and he was talking about falling on concrete. I was snowboarding, but he was like, you just got to tuck everything and tuck and roll, essentially. Like you just want to, because he's like, you don't want to fall on like a hard edge of your body. You want to be able to roll into the fall. And
Yeah.
so I learned to, if I feel like I'm going to fall, just attempt to roll into it. And same with in drama class, when we were doing combat training, we had to practice falling all the time, and how to fall so we don't hurt ourselves, and all of these things. And it made me, even now I've kept all of that with me, where with any sport or whatever, if I do fall, I'm not too worried about it, because I trust that I know how to roll into it, or I know how to work with my body as I fall.
Yeah.
So it is something that like it's facing those fears, and facing the mud of falling, and like the that it really does give you confidence later on and shows you like your inner strength. Same with spirituality, right? So
Yes.
yeah, I love, like, our lives really matched up with the Course in Miracles this week.
Yep. Yeah, it really did. And just the exact same thing, the tools that we learn in any spiritual journey that we're on support us when we fall. They just do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. We learn how to cope and thrive because of the things that we have learned or not learned yet.
So I know you messaged me throughout the week and you said today's lesson was my absolute favorite. I cannot remember what lesson it
Oh,
was, but was it this one that you just mentioned?
no, it wasn't. No, I went back because I actually so lesson 160 was actually while I was in the throes of everything away with the family. And I didn't get to read it until the evening. And I just went, do you know what? There's going to be a day that just feels right for me to come back to this.
Yeah.
And so one of our lessons, I think it was yesterday's lesson, was actually a repeat. And we know that we've got some repeat lessons that are sprinkled throughout. And I was like, fantastic. I think it's today's lesson it was a repeat. And I was like, fantastic. This is my day. I'm going to go back actually and revisit what I didn't actually get to sink into all the way. I am going to just look quickly and see what that was. It was, I am amongst the ministers of God. It's lesson 154. And what I love here is that it's getting really clear on who we are and why we are here, and how each of us shares this message of being ministers of God. I think I might have said messages. I am among the ministers of God. And when we get clear on who we are and why we are here, we then get to ripple that out. And I think you and I have gotten great at recognizing who we are and why we're here, and knowing that's going to evolve and develop. We're living
Absolutely.
we're living beings, and it's going to develop, right?
Yeah.
And how beautiful it is that we each figure out how we do it differently. And one of the other messages within that lesson was once again saying that God needs us. And
Yeah.
so it's not just that we need the divine or God or, any higher power you believe in, but that higher power needs and appreciates us as well. And that energy for me just feels cleaner. It feels very give, receive, give, receive. There feels like flow there. Instead of me always coming to the divine and saying, oh, please help me. It's reciprocated back and forth. And I love that. And I love the word service. We all provide service. It doesn't matter who we are or what we're doing, we're providing service. And when we figure out what our favorite service is, what it is that we're here to do, I just feel like it just feels like there's a lot of pressure has been taken off then, because then it's just like, oh, now I get it. Oh, I get it. Okay, let me focus on this instead of bouncing all over the place and trying lots of things, which can be really, really fun. But when you get it finally honed, why it is that you're here, you can really focus on that and become that, that expert on that, and just get better and better and better and better at that. And I just feel that when we provide service that we feel great about, we just feel freaking great then. And then that radiates out and that changes the world.
Absolutely. 100%. With this, what I love about the give and receive, the God needs you as much as you need God, I go through, I was just explaining this to a friend the other day, actually, how my relationship with the divine, with God, is a bit like, God to me is like the boyfriend, no, not even the boyfriend, the guy you think is cute, you have his number, he has yours, but he's just playing games. He kind of like talks to you for a bit and then goes silent, and then talks and then goes silent. Like that's what I feel like my relationship has been for a little bit here, is that I'll get these like beautiful intuitive messages and they're really loud and really clear and amazing. And then there's just silence. Like like the conversation was not over. I want more. um and this is where I feel the theme of give and receive and God needs me as much as I need them start to come in, where I've been given the messages. Now I've been given the space to go and do something with that message I received, right? They're not ready to flip the page for me until I've started putting some action in motion, and to stop looking at those periods of silence as them playing games on me and not paying attention to.
Yes, I'm covered in goosebumps, Chantel. Don't you just love that when you get that? Oh, right. This is, and it's that pause. It's that pause for us to do our own work then.
100%. And like for months I've been like seeing that pause as like not as them just going away now, like them just dropping them on like see ya. And it's
Right. And doesn't that just tie right into the not feeling seen and heard?
100%,
Yeah.
100%. And this is the other thing, is so with me not feeling seen and heard, what I very much realized is the past little while, because it was showing up in every aspect of my life. Like it was wild how much it was showing up. What the universe was really showing me was I wasn't listening or hearing myself. And so
Yeah.
they gave me some really fantastic intuitive hits, went away. And when they go away is when I sort of like, again, I had this feeling of like insecurity coming up where, well, am I not listening to myself now because I'm not hearing my intuition? No, you heard the message. Now go and act on it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like,
And that's
yeah,
what inspired action is,
100%.
right? And then that reminds me of lesson 155. And 155, I just got to flip to it. 155 is I will step back and let him lead the way. And when within this lesson and within what Marianne Williamson chats about in it, let me just see, I got notes on it. Talking about how we don't always have to be the leader in all things. No hustle or push. Be discerning. I'm here to be helpful. I don't have to lead. Right? It is that let him lead the way and then take from it the lessons and the trying and the experimenting and all of those things and be helpful to yourself.
100%.
Learn, explore, experiment, try it out.
And the like with this topic as well, with letting him lead the way, when we have periods in our life where we feel really overwhelmed and we kind of wish someone would just tell us what to do, make some decisions for us, we can really lean into God for that. We don't
Yeah.
need necessarily our partner or our family or our friends or whatever to do that for us. It's great if they do, but and it may manifest itself in that way, but we can also step back and just know that God, the universe, the divine will do that for us. We just need to learn to ask for it as well, and to get out of the way a little bit.
Get out of the way, get out of our own way. And it's so key to be willing to ask. And it comes back then to be willing to ask means that you're in a trusting relationship.
Yes.
To then, right? And like when you were talking about the relationship with God, and you each have your each other's phone number, but sometimes he just goes radio silence on you. When I think of relationship with God, like years ago, say, it would be me coming to him as this like humbled, horrible sinner who now needs to pay for sins in order to even like get the phone number, right? And just say, I'm a wretched person and I'm lost without you and I'm horrible. And now go ahead and give me all your punishments so that I can even be able to start to connect with you. And that's not actually how it goes.
Well, and this is what I love about like in the what number was it? I don't know. Anyways, throughout A Course in Miracles, they have said this multiple times that we are sinless, right?
Yeah.
That
Yes.
we are perfect as we are. Like we are not these horrible humans that a lot of churches like to make us feel like we are. And I mean, I was raised Roman Catholic, so like I know how horrible we're supposed to be. But this is you are perfect and you don't need to have that guilt. You don't need to have that shame.
No.
Can
No.
we can just love and be love and radiate love and multiply it and magnify it. And
Yeah. And then just like those course corrections that we've chatted about before, little course correction, little course correction. It's okay. And now you bring up the Roman Catholic Church, which this is something you and I've never chatted about, but I also was raised Catholic-ish. Not, we weren't full. My mom was definitely raised Catholic, and I was ish. And so that's just an interesting thing that we have in common that we didn't even know about until now.
yeah, well, okay, so my background, just so people know a little bit more. So on my mom's side, it's Polish, so everyone was like hardcore Roman Catholics on that side. My mom wasn't. My grandma sure on is. And we were kind of raised to my mom brought us to church quite a bit, but I think kind of in junior high is when it kind of stopped a little bit. But when we were young, it was, we went to Catholic schools and things like that. My dad, it's very interesting. He always thought going to church was a good idea, but didn't really like going himself. So my dad's French Canadian, so that he kind of has more of that history when it comes to being Catholic. But as he's gotten older, now he's gone back to not necessarily going to church, but talking about God, talking about religion. He talks about it way more than he ever did when I was a kid. Meanwhile, my mom has been the opposite, where as we've gotten older, she talks about it less. She has no interest in church, even to talk about God. She likes talking about guides and spirits, but when it comes to God, she has no interest. My dad has completely swapped, where when I was a kid, you couldn't really talk to him about it. But as we've gotten older, and the way that he talks about it, there's like a wisdom and beauty in how my dad talks about it. And it's through his own self-contemplation, and he's developed kind of his own practice around it. Yeah,
His own relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of being told, this is how you have to do it. And if you don't do it this way, you're a sinner and going to hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I just think for myself that religion and spirituality are two very different things. And I've definitely met people who are both religious and spiritual. I've definitely met people who are spiritual, not religious. And I've definitely met people who are religious and not spiritual. It's interesting how we each, and I love that we each get to have our own path on exploring and discovering this. And whatever that path is for each of us is individual and as unique as we are. And that's beautiful.
I completely agree how the two are separate.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. I have witnessed and I'm starting to experience more and more, not the two combined, but I've seen people and how they have the two work together, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But they're still two separate things. But I'm seeing more and more how I think actually want to know what it is sorry, I'm just going to close this window because kids are playing basketball outside.
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing more and more is people people who I've attracted into my life who pray a lot, have developed that practice through religion. But
Yeah.
what I'm noticing is that has allowed them to have a really beautiful spiritual practice. And when they start tuning into their intuition and tuning into messages from the divine, from the universe, from God, they're really quick on the uptake of it because of this long practice that they've learned through religion of
Yeah.
prayer and silent contemplation and doing some of that inner work, asking questions, having that relationship with something divine. So it's been really interesting, where the minute some of the words change, where it's not so religion-y and a bit more on the spiritual side, all of a sudden it's like things click and things skyrocket for them. It's
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah. Beautiful to witness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were there any other lessons for you that really stuck out the last 2 weeks?
The lesson that I brought up was that today I learned to give as I receive. The next lesson after that complemented it so well,
Yeah.
where it was, I give the miracles I have received.
Yeah.
And I feel like you were talking about service earlier and figuring out how our favorite way to be of service, the most joyful way to be of service. And I feel like this really relates to that. I have this beautiful intuitive gifts, and I love teaching people how to connect with their intuition. Absolutely love it. And for example, the other day I did a mediumship reading, and there was one person there who were very strongly, it was like, that guy can do mediumship work. He doesn't know it, but if he tried, and if I could convince him to do an exercise right now, he'd be able to do it. He mentally wasn't ready for it, which is fine. I'm not here to push, but it is so much fun, and it's so beautiful to be able to share the miracles, the gifts, the messages, the everything that the divine has taught me. It is so much fun to share that with others. And so again, this is that I feel like this week a lot of the lessons are deepening and reflective of everything we've learned so far.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're chatting about like witnessing or actually supporting somebody to learn how to use their intuition, we get to do that in so many ways. So there could be that person who says, Chantel, I want to do some coaching with you and get deeper in my relationship deeper with my intuition. And then there's the way of just simply vibrating it out and how it affects people. Right. And so we don't have to, whatever our service is, we don't have to go around and like preach it either. We live it. And the people that we then attract into our life who are going to be keenly interested to the point where they want to learn more about it. And it doesn't matter if it's about intuition or if it's about auto mechanics. And then there's the people too that are just, they are feeling our vibe and they're either picking it up or it's inspiring them to find their own vibe.
100%. when you're in a good mood and happy, you raise the
Yeah.
mood of the people around you. When abundance comes to you, you spread that abundance around. It's when positive opportunities and creative opportunities come your way, there's other people that join on for that ride.
Yeah.
It is that, yeah, like a miracle isn't a one person experience. As much as it may feel that way at the time, it really isn't. It positively affects so many people around us.
Yeah. And I think too, when a miracle occurs, it does feel like it's just for us. It feels unique and special and for us, which is perfect. And it vibrates out in all sorts of ways. We share that out in so many ways, which is just beautiful that it's special and unique and it's for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other exercises that
Oh, I covered I usually have like in the 2 weeks, there's usually like three I find that just like really stand out that are my top ones that just, really spur something on or just really resonate is what it is. That just really resonate with me. And there's nothing wrong with any of the others. There's just the ones that are just a stronger lesson.
absolutely, yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like the last 2 weeks, it's very interesting because some weeks there are definitely some that are like where it's easy. I'm like, those are like, yeah, my two, my three, my one, absolutely don't even have to think about it. This week, or like the last 2 weeks, I feel like so many of them were so woven in with each other, and
Mm-hmm.
so again, reflective and mirroring my life around me of what was happening, that they all kind of were a bit even this week, if that makes sense. It's like not like, and that's not a bad thing. That was really
No.
positive. um I find some of the weeks where I'm like, oh God, this week sucked. It's the week where like one really stands out because I was the one had the nugget for me.
Yeah, that was it.
But yeah, I found the like this last 2 weeks, I did get a lot out of the lessons, and they did really reflect quite a bit of what was happening at the time.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Well, I think that's like a good place to end. Do you have anything you'd want to add?
Oh, no, I think that's the perfect wrap up, I think. Hey?
Excellent. Well, close us off.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for listening. We are pleased to be here and to share our experience as two newbies just exploring A Course in Miracles. Chantal and Jenny signing off. See you next time.
Bye.